watching KDOC TV Los Angeles.
For me, it is about the law and people.
That is not a legal defense, let me tell you.
And how people can resolve and better themselves.
Justice with passion.
I knew I was going to go into law because I always defended everybody. I was always the one who found a solution and tried to resolve the problem by having people talk to each other.
Justice with truth.
So I'm giving you one more chance to tell me the truth.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. On KDOC TV Los Angeles. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Molly Barnett is suing Kyle Gilbert in the amount of $1,109 for the cost of repairing fire damage to her kitchen she says he caused while attempting to deep fry chicken drumettes.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Cristina Perez presiding. Please be seated. All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bernard. Ms. Berlin, explain to me why we are here today suing Mr. Gilbert for almost $1,200.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here because my ex-boyfriend decided to cook with all his friends in my apartment some wings and burnt down my kitchen.
Okay, so what happened that day?
What happened was we were watching the football game. We got into the game. It was about a minute before halftime, and all of a sudden we start smelling smoke and realized there's a small fire in the kitchen.
Okay, so Brian was in charge of the cooking, right? Brian, why don't you stand up? So you were in charge of the cooking that day, and why did you decide to cook wings or fry wings?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a big guy. I was getting hungry, and I saw there were some wings in the freezer.
Okay.
And, you know, I asked Kyle, I was like, hey, you know, can I make these? He's like, sure, go ahead. So, you know, I've never done it before.
Okay.
But
Go ahead.
I just figured, you know, I threw them on the stove, and
Did you read the instructions?
I did not, no.
You didn't. So then, but what happened? So you guys leave the chicken wings
We
on the
leave
oil,
the chicken
you go
wings.
watch the game.
I start getting a smell, and then I realize, oh, the wings. And by that time, it was too late. There's flames coming off the stove. Luckily, I was quick enough to think to go to the pantry, grab the fire extinguisher, and put it out.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So I run in the kitchen, I go to the pantry, I grab the fire extinguisher, and I begin to put the fire out.
Okay. And that's when you walk in?
Yeah, well, when I walked in, all I could see was smoke, so I didn't know what was going on, and it's, you know, my parents bought me this condo, and I'm responsible for it, and I was freaking out. You know, our relationship was already on the rocky edge. He was hanging by a thread. Like,
okay,
this
well,
was
this
it.
is not about the relationship. So
I
it's
know
about
it's
the
not
kitchen.
about...
It's about your stovetop, and that's why it got ruined. So then you put the fire out with the extinguisher. Did anything happen to you guys or anything else?
Besides my heart beating 1,000 miles an hour and me about dying, that's about it.
Well, okay, so you put the fire out in time, okay? And what was the damage? What happened to the stovetop?
Just behind the stove, there was some burning on the wall, and then the stovetop was, the stovetop was messed up, and then the oven.
Was the stove, after you, well, she came in and she kicked you guys out,
She kicked us out.
Were you able to see if the stove was still working, or did you guys call the fire? The
fire department was not called. I put it out. I took care of everything myself, but there was so much going on. I don't even know what happened to the oven after that. She just threw us out.
And coming up,
Your Honor, basically it's like me driving a clunker and me getting in a car accident and then going to my insurance company and saying I want a sports car. It's not necessary.
closed captioning provided by
Think you're stuck paying high auto insurance rates because of your driving record? Then now is the time to change the game. Just go to thegeneral.com or call us for a super fast quote. All it takes is a couple of minutes. Our rates are very affordable, and right now our monthly payment
for life.
Molly Barnett. You're watching Justice.
Every weeknight starting at 7 right here on KDOC Los Angeles.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Molly Barnett, who is suing Kyle Gilbert for the cost of repairing fire damage to her kitchen.
Do you have proof that they damaged it?
Yeah, I have evidence right here.
Okay, give me all your evidence. Give it to Renard, please. So somebody came to inspect your oven, your stove. What did they say? Was the stove still in working? I mean, I look at it here, it looks like it's in working condition. Yes, the stove top looks burned, as well as some of the cabinets. What did the company say? Is the stove still in working order?
Well, I had to get the top of it repaired and also the hood range repaired, and then all the painting and new cabinets above where the hood range is.
So the stove was still in working order. You just had to replace the counter part of it, and above the stove, you had to replace that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did get all cabinets for it. They were completely damaged.
Well, they don't look like they were damaged there. It looked like they were burned, but I mean, I don't know if that's just the smoke that made them dark.
And there's a hole on top.
Well, I have your receipt here. Okay. So the total repairs for about $450, right? And here is another receipt for the range. Okay. So then your gripe, Kyle, was that why didn't you want, if you guys clearly were there and you were responsible, I mean, by your own testimony, you have told me you were negligent in cooking the chicken wings, right? You left, you didn't pay attention, that's how the fire started.
I'm not denying the fact.
Okay, so then why not pay her the money to fix this?
Because I've been a handyman for over 5 years. I remodel kitchens, and I know that the $1,200 she's asking, I could repair it myself for at least 1/3 that cost.
Really? So she's actually suing you for $1,109. So you're saying you could do it cheaper than that?
Your Honor, basically it's like me driving a clunker and me getting in a car accident and then going to my insurance company and saying I want a sports car.
Okay.
I mean, she's just asking for the best upgrade, and it's not necessary.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. Promotional consideration provided by
the parts to replace the top of the stove and the range were $609. That's pretty reasonable. Unless you have something to prove to me, that's why you came to court, and it's your chance to give me some kind of evidence to prove this is such an upgrade, because you're calling it an upgrade. Then knock your stuff out. Give it to me.
Don't, Your Honor.
No? Okay. All right. So it's pretty simple. Based on the evidence, I will go ahead and grant your claim for $1,109 to fix the damage. That's what it costs you to fix the damage that Kyle and Brian did. Okay? Next time, do me a favor, Brian. Read the instructions. Okay? You're a big boy. You should know that. All right? Thank you.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,109.
You know you could have got a new range hood for less than $200.
You're a liar, you're a cheater. I'm just glad you're out of my life.
Molly, the money that I'm having to pay now is 1/3 of what I would have paid, and I could have done a better job.
I hate morning sex. Every time I have sex, someone goes into mourning.
On the next baggage.
Today at 2 on KDOC TV, Los Angeles. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.
For me,